Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie.
Let's talk Tri-State.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Tri-State, all powered by HomeRight Windows and Doors in Waynesboro. The right choice, winner in the 2024 Best of the Tri-State. Our next guest today, we have Christy Thomas, who is the volunteer coordinator for WIN Victim Services. First of all, thanks for coming in and sharing information about your events.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Yes, we just had Brittany in here from WIN a couple weeks ago, and she was wonderful, and the work that you guys do is just really, really great. So let's just start off before we get to the cornhole event, which is, I know, the meat of what we're going to be talking about. For anybody who is not familiar with WIN, Women in Need, what are the services that you guys provide?
So we are actually a local domestic violence and sexual assault agency. So we support victims of Franklin and Fulton County. We provide the 24-hour hotline. So at 24 hours a day, anytime at night, you can call our services. We also provide legal and medical advocacy. So we can accompany individuals to court, the hospital, kind of all of the things surrounding this scary stuff. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
We also have emergency shelter. We do individual and group counseling. Wow. And we also do training and education.
So it's really, if somebody finds themselves in a situation and they need to get out, WIN can really be there every step of the way, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Now, is it just women?
No. We provide services to women, men, and children, and members of the LGBTQ+ community.
Very good. Now, you said just Franklin and Fulton County, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And so what are some of the other programs that you offer? Do you have different programs?
So we have like housing.
Yes.
Or you see, okay,
Yes.
Yeah. So we have transitional advocates that can assist with housing. We don't find housing, but we support through that process. We also have a volunteer program, which I run. We try to do at least 2 trainings a year. And outside of like the legal and the shelter advocates, it would be counseling. Yeah.
Talk to us about the volunteer. What are you looking for volunteers?
Always.
Okay. So if somebody were interested, how would they get started?
So they would just need to reach out to me. They can call our office or they can just email me directly at christyt@winservices.org. We try to have at least 2 volunteer programs a year. Our first one just started January 14th. So we have another one coming up probably later in the year, maybe around October, maybe September sometime.
What does that entail, the volunteer program?
So it's actually a lot of training
I'm sure.
that's necessary just because of the work that we do. But the training just depends on what you're interested. Are you interested in working with our clients? Maybe you don't want to work with clients and you're more interested in just being out in the community. So there's about between 80 to 40 hours of training, again, depending on what you're interested in doing. After you finish your training, we do like a hands-on teaching, which is about 5 hours. And then you're free to do whatever you're interested in.
I can imagine if you're volunteering in a place like WIN and the individuals that are there, there's a sensitivity factor that needs to be top of mind.
Absolutely.
And I think training, I didn't even think about the fact that volunteers might have to be cognizant and aware of really what's going on in the psyche of people.
Absolutely.
Coming from those situations.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's great that you guys offer that. Is that training free?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. And how many volunteers do you currently have?
At this current time, I would say we have about 20.
Okay.
We have about probably 15 that are hands-on with our clients and about 5 that just would prefer to be out in the community, which is absolutely fine with us.
And when you say hands-on, is that in the shelters or?
Shelter, hotline, possibly out in the hospital.
Hotline, because that's 24/7.
Yes.
So there's always somebody there answering a call.
Yes.
If somebody wanted to just say, do you get phone calls where people will say, I think my friend is in a situation?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, how do you handle that?
So we do have a confidentiality clause that we can take that information and give you some resources or maybe even some ideas to tell your friend about, but we can't take their personal information from the friend.
They have to be able to be the ones that are making the phone calls.
I mean, they can even call with the friend, but we do have to speak directly to the client.
Wow. That must be a scary call to make and a very brave call to actually, that's the first step in really getting some help and thinking, hey, this is wrong. Because I can imagine that if you are in a situation of domestic violence, maybe you think it's normal, or it becomes your normal, and you kind of lose sight of, hey, this isn't the way it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And so that can be a very courageous thing to do. It's great that you guys are right there on the other end 24/7 to help someone through the whole process. So how can we support WIN? You have the cornhole tournament coming up.
We do. We have the Cornhole for a Cause event, which is hosted on January 25th. It is a Saturday. If there was
next Saturday.
Next Saturday,
That's
yeah.
right. Wow. My goodness, this month is flying by.
It is, right? Welcome to 2025.
Yeah.
If there's bad weather, it will be pushed out until February 1st. It's at the Chambersburg AmVets Pavilion, and it is indoors, so it is heated.
Oh, nice. Beverages,
Yes.
food.
So the AmVets will be serving alcohol and beer at an additional cost. We will have Dougie's Barbecue outside. It's a food truck, so yum.
Yeah.
There are 2 teams, so you can kind of register for a competitive team if you're more professional. I'm not.
People take cornhole very seriously.
I just learned that not too long ago. But there's also social team, which is more laid back.
Sure.
There are some prizes, so up to $1,000 for more competitive teams, and up to $200 for social.
Wow. Now the $1,000, I'm assuming that's split amongst the team, or how does that work?
So there has to be at least 20 teams in order to get up to the 1,000, and it's for the $200, there has to be at least 10 teams.
Okay.
So it just kind of depends how many teams register.
I think you're going to have great success with this, because think of all the people that tailgate, go to football games, go to concerts. I mean, and what do you do at a tailgate? You play cornhole.
Right.
I mean, it's like such a hand-in-hand activity.
Absolutely.
And so you're still looking for people to sign up and create teams.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can actually register the day of.
Okay.
And it's not just cornhole. You can actually get there will be raffles and fish bowls, so to win even more prizes. So come.
What's the cost to do it?
For the competitive teams, it is $50, and for the social, it's $40. So teams will consist of 2, so you're paying $40 for 2 people, or $50 for 2.
Okay, so $25 a person.
Yeah.
How long does the event run?
So it will. The registration begins at 11, and the games will start at 12.
Okay.
And I believe until about 6 p.m.
Whoa. Yeah. That is a lot of cornhole.
Yes.
But that's such a great social event too.
It is.
You know, I'm a single lady, so I'm always thinking of where are places I could go to meet singles. I mean,
Cornhole's one of them.
I think that's a great opportunity. Will the competitive teams work like a bracket type situation?
So there's going to be a bunch of teams going on.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, a bunch of games going on at once, and it will be announced by Maryland Cornhole. So I would say there's probably, it depends how many teams register.
Right.
So it may be every couple hours. It just kind of depends. It's a little up in the air now, but I know we do have some teams registered.
That sounds like a great event. So it's on the 25th. I just want to make sure I have all the who, what, where, when, why, how, everything. On the 25th, Chambersburg AmVets?
Yes.
Okay, and then the registration's at 11 or noon?
At 11.
And it
Game
starts at
noon.
Noon to 6. We have prizes. Could be up to 1,000 depending on how many teams register. For the competitive, 200 for the more social aspect. Food, drink. I mean, what else could you possibly want in an event? And it's done at 6.
Right.
So if you wanted to go out or go to the movies or something, you still have the whole night.
Yeah, right.
and all the proceeds go to WIN, right?
Yes. And we have some wonderful sponsors.
Who are some of your sponsors?
So we have, from what I can remember off the top of my head, we have F&M and Martin's Potato Rolls.
They are so great.
Plus many more. We have a lot.
Of course. Yeah, but they are 2 really, really wonderful companies.
Yes.
And I had another question, and it just flew out of my head. Where can we register? You might have already said this.
So you can actually register on our website, or you can come to the AmVets and register that day.
Wonderful. Well, I'm really looking forward to it. Do you have a goal of what you're looking to raise?
A lot.
A lot. I like that. Because this is the 3rd year you've done this?
No, this is actually the first year.
This is the first year.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we used to do Welcome Allenhurst shoes, and that was pretty consistent. And now we're trying out cornhole.
I think my old co-host Tiny did that, put on heels, and then they walk
a mile. Yeah.
a mile. Yeah,
Yes.
Tiny did that a few
It's
years
very
ago.
fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be way more excited about the cornhole than the heels, but that's a great event. Definitely encourage everybody to support it. Really sounds like a lot of fun and very much up my alley as well. So encourage everybody to start a team, come out. I mean, even if you don't want to play cornhole, it's a nice day to, grab a beer, grab some food, hang out and support a great cause.
Who doesn't like a drink, right?
Right, 100%. Well, Christy, thank you so much for sharing this information with us, and we hope that you have a very, very successful event. We'll be right back with Let's Talk Tri-State.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.